Hey guys, Chuck with RV Tech Tips. In this video, we are going to upgrade our power awning to be able to operate it off a remote control and also a wind sensor. So if the awning is all the way out and it gets really windy, it'll automatically roll up. Like if you're out camping and you go out on a hike or something, that awning is just going to roll up by itself. First of all, if you don't have any experience with awnings, or if you're not comfortable with this, don't even attempt this, because awnings can be very dangerous. They're under a lot of tension and people can get really hurt if they don't know what they're doing. So if you're comfortable with it, go ahead, but if not, maybe have somebody do this for you. So I bought this kit. It's a Dometic power awning kit. There's the part number right there. So here's what comes in the kit. So we got a controller right here, a remote control, our wind sensor, which is going to be mounted to the arm of the awning, and then a couple harnesses here. So this is for a Dometic awning, and what I have here is actually a Solera built by Lippert. So I'm not 100% sure it's going to work, but I think it should. I don't see why it wouldn't. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to run the awning out just a little bit so we can get to the back of the screws that are on the back of the motor cap, which is that piece, but actually on the other side. And then I'm going to put some straps on the awning in case I lose control of that motor. It's not going to come crashing down. So I'll get that started first. Okay, so I got my awning secured with straps right here, and on the front right here. And then on second thought, I don't think I need to take that cap off. I think I could just take that screw out and I should be all right. But that's kind of the scary part there, because if you take that screw out and that motor moves, it's going to take the awning out of the hardware. So you got to be really careful when you do that. Make sure you're ready, everything's ready to go when you take that screw out. But I'm going to try to do that without moving anything, and then that way it doesn't come out. So that's the next step. Alright, here's the screw that we need to take out right there. And again, be extremely careful here, because that's what's holding the awning into the arm. If we do it carefully, it should just stay where it's at. But if it starts moving around and it pops out of the arm, it could fall down, crashing down to the ground. So that's not what we want. So be very careful here. There we go. Now, because this kit is made for a Dometic awning, the mounting hole I had to drill because this bolt's a lot bigger than the Dometic bolt is. So I used, let's see, 19/64 drill bit to do it. Alright, so I used a screwdriver to screw that in because I didn't want to strip the nut behind it, and it looks like it's pretty secure. I'm kind of worried that the sensor, there's not a lot of room on the top for the sensor to snap in, but it looks like it will. Yeah, it should be good. All right, on the other side, on the bottom, we're gonna drill a hole right here and just put a rivet in it. Like that. Like my root tool, attaches to the drill, makes it way easier. There is wires in that arm, so you want to, when you drill your hole, make sure the wires are out of the way. Now it's time to get our sensor hooked up here. So the kit comes with new batteries. And again, this is the wind sensor, so if it gets windy, it'll automatically roll up. I wouldn't really rely on that. If it's windy, don't just rely on the sensor. Probably just roll that awning up. But it's for added security. So yeah, the batteries go in the back. Snap back into the sensor, just like that, and then this piece will mount to the piece we just screwed onto the arm. Hopefully I have enough clearance on the top. So it must be on. Now we can go ahead and cut those straps and start with the wiring. All right, now for the tricky part. So now we got to wire this thing up. So you're gonna want to find your power awning switch. This one is right here. So we need to take this plate off and get to the wiring back there. Alright, so here's the back of the switch. Let's see if I can get some light on it. So we got 5 wires, we got 2 grounds, 1 positive, and then 2 going to the motor. The way the switch works is you got your positive and your negative from the supply, from the battery. And then you got your motor wires, and when you hit the switch one way, like if we hit extend, it'll power the motor, positive and ground, and then when we retract, it reverses the polarity. It sends ground and power to the motor to turn the direction around. So we're going to take a picture of this. So we know the orientation of the wires. In case this doesn't end up working out, I can always just put it back together the way it was. So I'm going to pull those wires and then start working on this wire harness. And the instructions have a wiring diagram. I'll be honest, the instructions aren't great, so I'm kind of going to wing it here. I think I know how it's supposed to go, but We'll find out. Alright, so I had to take a break because I forgot to bring my wiring terminal set, so I had to go to Walmart and pick this up for $7. Even though I have a million of these at the shop. Well, that's alright. What sucks is because these are not as good quality as the ones that I usually use, so hopefully I don't have to redo it later. But anyways, grab that harness that came in the kit and our instructions. We got to figure out which wire goes where here, so pull up the wiring diagram. Here's a diagram right here. Tells us what wire goes where. So our red wire is our main positive coming in. Oh shoot, we have two red wires. Let's see here. Oh, the smaller of the two red wires goes to an LED light if we had it, which we don't, so we're going to ignore that one. Our red wires are positive. Our black is our negative. The white also goes to an LED light that we don't have, so we ignore that one. Our blue goes to the red of the awning motor. Our brown goes to the black of the awning motor. And our orange is for an ignition switch. If you have a motorhome, you could hook it up to an ignition switch so you can't operate it with the engine running. That way, if you have kids or something, they accidentally hit the button while you're driving, you don't want that to happen. So this is a trailer, so we don't have to worry about that one either. So we got 4 wires we got to deal with here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of these male blade terminals, these guys right here. That way, if this doesn't work out, I can just put the wires back on the original switch. So that's what I'm going to work on now. That's the next step. Alright, next thing we need to do before I disconnect all these wires, I need to figure out which one is which. So I know these two whites are ground. One of these is going to be positive, and then the other two are going to the motor. So grab your voltmeter, which is right here, and then one should be powered all the time, so that will be our 12 volt positive. Then I'm going to hit the switch to extend and see which one of those wires, either the blue or the white with the red stripe, are going to be our positive to extend, and then it'll reverse for retract. So, and then I'm going to write down what each wire does so I can rewire the switch later. Okay, so I got my wiring done, I think. So I got our negative, this is our black wire, our positive is the red wire. Our brown wire is awning extend, and our blue wire is awning retract. I may have those backwards, we'll find out. If I do have it backwards, when I hit the switch on the remote to go out, it'll go in, it'll just work opposite, so then we can just easily change it. So now what we got to do here, I just have this hanging right now. It doesn't really say where you can put this. It says screw it down to the wall, but I don't want anything, I don't want all these wires exposed, so I think I'm just going to tuck it back in that cabinet, and it should still work, hopefully. If not, that must be the signal wire, so if I route that wire out, it should get its signal from there. But now, what we need to do is program the remote. We can test it out here. So let's see. Looks like we need the remote and also the sensor. So I think we might need a little screwdriver to move the or dial that back. Let's So let me grab that and we'll be right back. Alright, so I went ahead and programmed the remote. I didn't film it because you have to do each step within 4 seconds or else you have to start over. If you do buy this kit, it comes with instructions. It's pretty easy, about 8 steps to get it programmed. And I did have the motor wires backwards, so when I was trying to retract the awning, it was extending, and when I was trying to extend it, it would retract. So I switched the blue and the brown wires, these two right here, switched them, and it worked just fine. So right now what I'm trying to do is hook up the switch. It was already installed because I still want to be able to operate it off the switch in case the remote dies. So it comes with this phone cable. That and some wires here. I'm going to strip this down because I'm going to have to hook these tiny wires to the switch. So that's our next step, and I'm going to work on that and see how that goes. Alright, so the last step is hooking up the original switch, because you still want that to be operate, because if the remote dies or you lose it, you still will be able to run your awning in and out. So you're gonna have to refer to your picture of the wiring at the switch before you started taking it apart. That's what I did. And then also the wiring diagram, and then your notes on what wire was what. So on this one, the red and white was the 12 volt positive. So follow the wiring diagram. Oops. So the 12 volt positive, it goes to the green wire on the phone cable, just like that. And then the black wire is retract. So back to your diagram. Which one was retract? It was the black wire. Or no, it was the yellow wire. So go back to your picture, whatever the retract positive or the retract terminal was, that's where the black wire is going to go. And then the red is extend. So go back to your photo of where the extend wire was and put it back on the same terminal. So now the moment of truth. Let's see if this is going to work. Alright, so let's hit extend. There we go. Retract. Heck yeah. We'll button this up and then access the remote, and then we're done. Okay, now for the real moment of truth. So I got everything cleaned back up right there. Got our remote. Let's see what happens. There's our wind sensor. Alright, so I'm gonna hit out, which is down. Look at that. Nice. So now let's see if the wind sensor part works. So this sensor is a vibration sensor. So once it senses a vibration, it should roll up. Yep. Basically, if it starts getting windy out, that thing will vibrate and then it'll automatically just roll the awning up. So you want to make sure that there's nothing in the way of the awning when you leave, because if there's something in the way, the awning could hit something. So be careful with that. Again, if you're not comfortable with doing awning work, refer or send it, have someone come do it for you. There's a lot of good mobile RV repair people around the country. I think the retail price on this kit is only like 150 bucks. Well worth it. I've been really impressed with it. It was pretty easy to install. Most people could probably do it. Just it's up to whatever your comfort level is. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll leave a link to the part on my description. Again, that part number from Dometic 331-7115.005. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, Chuck with RV Tech Tips. In this video, we are going to upgrade our power awning to be able to operate it off a remote control, and also a wind sensor. So if the awning is all the way out and it gets really windy, it'll automatically roll up. Like if you're out camping and you go out on a hike or something, that awning is just going to roll up by itself. First of all, if you don't have any experience with awnings, or if you're not comfortable with this, don't even attempt this, because awnings can be very dangerous. They're under a lot of tension and people can get really hurt if they don't know what they're doing. So if you're comfortable with it, go ahead, but if not, maybe have somebody do this for you. So I bought this kit. It's a Dometic power awning kit. There's the part number right there. So here's what comes in the kit. So we got a controller right here, a remote control, our wind sensor, which is going to be mounted to the arm of the awning, and then a couple harnesses here. So this is for a Dometic awning, and what I have here is actually a Solera built by Lippert. So I'm not 100% sure it's going to work, but I think it should. I don't see why it wouldn't. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to run the awning out just a little bit so we can get to the back of the screws that are on the back of the motor cap, which is that piece, but actually on the other side. And then I'm going to put some straps on the awning in case I lose control of that motor. It's not going to come crashing down. So I'll get that started first.